Hello, everybody. We made it. We've been
We
we've
made
been
it.
trying to do a live for 2 days now. We finally figured it out. Yay! So that's good.
Oh
Um,
gosh.
so this is my sweet friend Brandy Nelson, who I've known for a long time. We've played a lot together in lots of different ways, and always in very like fun, creative ways. And she just recently took my foundation class, my Access Consciousness Foundation class, and she's going to be taking my Business Done Different class, and like got re-inspired with the tools of Access
Totally.
Consciousness and like the creation tools. That's one of my favorite things about Access is the tools that we have for creation. There's so much about truly doing things the way in ways that make sense to you, and seeing how that creates so much thrival in ways that we just can't have if you're trying to do it like everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I have been so excited because ever since I've signed up for the class, I'm already feeling the energy of it. And it's just like, it's so exciting. Um, but I've had my own business for years. Gosh, I don't know, 25 plus years. And for a long time I've done work with business owners. And so in the course of having my own business, working with business owners, what I've realized is that number one, I don't do business the same way that everybody else does.
Yeah,
And the way that we have been taught to do business, and you go to like business seminars and different things, and it's like the cookie cutter approach to business doesn't work for everybody. And
for sure.
so when I saw this class, I'm like, what is this? And of course, I know the Access tools. I've been around Access for a while and was a facilitator for a long time, but I never actually took a Business Done Different class. So, what exactly would you tell someone about the Business Done Different class?
Oh man, I it is one of my favorite classes to facilitate for
Oh, I
one.
bet it is. I can tell.
Yeah, I mean, I love facilitating periods, so I love doing a lot. I do a lot of stuff with bodies too. But for me, like I said in the beginning, the creation tools and Access Consciousness, the business. I mean, from an access perspective, like. And this is my perspective, it always has been. I just found this body of work that really like made a lot of sense to me. So, but creation and business are they're the same thing, and I've always been a very creative person, and I had a lot of ideas about what that was, what it looked like, and it's not any of that. It doesn't mean you're going to like pick up a paintbrush and paint, although it could, but I realized the joy of business, which is like a specialty area within Access Consciousness. That's the Business Done Different class is in that umbrella. It really like, I mean, when I first took my first Joy of Business class, I was like, yes, 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 yes. I was like on the edge of my seat, just like somebody is finally talking about business in a way that makes sense to me, which is, what do you know?
Yeah.
What's true for you? What's fun for you? Money follows joy. Money follows creation. And it's when you try to go the linear path to creating business, you're gonna try to do it the way somebody else is doing it, and
Mhm.
you are not going to give yourself access to your superpowers, which are the things that
Yeah.
and it takes some. We got to get into that a little bit because a lot of people don't think they know anything about
Anything.
business,
Yeah.
and so the Business Done Different class is this like amazing exploration of what, like, some incredible tools, conversations that really stimulate your awareness of what you know about business and creation. And then you like unlock it and unleash it, and you're like off to the races. It's amazing.
I love that. I love that. And I also want to just mention, we just came off of one of your money pull calls. You're doing this 65 days of money pulls, $65. Oh my gosh. If you guys are not on it, you should totally be on it. I mean, I think we're 21 days into this thing, and it has
Yeah.
like rocked my world. But we were on that, and you were speaking about money flowing in from a place of relaxation. And I would love to, because there's this idea that just drives me crazy because I've tried it and it doesn't work for me, about this like hustle and grind and force and do and make, you know what I mean, with business. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like just shut up and leave me alone and let me do my thing. So what do you have to say about business? A different possibility other than that force and
Yeah. Yeah. That's such a good, great question. I mean, I also, because I've been an entrepreneur my whole life, basically. I mean, I had one job when I was like 27 years old out of grad school, I mean, I had, little jobs before
yeah,
then, but like I finished grad school, I got a job for 9 months, and then I started a private practice. And I was like, after that, I was like, I've
yeah,
worked for myself. That was, I don't know, 20 some odd years ago, 27 or something like that.
yeah.
Um, but I mean, I remember having business coaching, and, my business coach was like, do this, do this, do this. And I'd be sitting in her office writing things down. This is
Yep.
the paper and pen days, right? And this was like in the late 90s or whatever. And she would just be telling me all these things like, do this, do that, do that. And I would just be like, okay, well, that's my homework. I'm going to go do it. And it was like such a hustle. It never felt like it was me, And I always had this sense of like, there's got to be something different possible here. Like I I just had a sense that like if we could be more authentically ourselves, that would just work better. It's like this pragmatic perspective on that. And so that what I've seen is like anytime I've had any sort of energy of like hustle or trying to sell something or trying to convince somebody to buy my shit, it doesn't feel good to me. It doesn't work. It doesn't bring people in. I mean, I know what it's like to be sold to, and I know when someone's trying to sell something to me, I'm like, no, thank you, you know?
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
would just so much rather just invite people to a possibility, of like, hey, what is it that you know? What,
Yeah.
and the amazing thing is it seems like a simple question. It's also a very big question. And what I've found is that you really need tools, like specific tools that are designed to be supportive of those who would like to explore business done their way,
Yeah.
um, and you give yourself in the Business Done Different class, you give yourself access to this whole set of tools, that are like, here's all kinds of things you can do, questions you can ask, energetic tools, pragmatic tools, ways of seeing things, ways of interacting with people, that just stimulate again, like your knowing. And then you start to bring that more, and you start to trust yourself so much more
Yeah.
with what, because I was always like, well, I'm not an entrepreneur. I always thought I had to like wear a suit and work in a high rise to be a business person, and I was like, I don't want
Right.
to do that,
Yeah.
but
Well,
turns
and
out
there's,
that's not the case.
I have my children who, I mean, I guess they're practically adults now, but but since they were little, I've always said, if you find something that you love to do, right? And let that be your source of income or one of your sources of income, you'll never work a day in your life. But I've also, like, that's just a piece of it, right?
Yeah.
Like, and for me personally, I have discovered and I have tried many times to like squeeze myself into this reality and do business from this reality. And it just doesn't work for me at all.
Yeah.
And what I've realized is that finding your joy in what you're doing is just a piece of it. And it goes back to what you were saying. It's like you need to have tools that can facilitate you beyond just that space of, oh, I'm doing what I love. But what if it could be even greater and better, right? If you have tools to facilitate yourself in that process. So
For sure.
that's kind of what I'm hearing you say right now. It's like, great if you're doing what you love, but what if it could be better?
Well, yeah, and the tools in the Business Done Different class and like access consciousness in general, they're pragmatic. They're so unique in that they're energetic,
Yeah.
and in that they're very pragmatic because everything is energy, you know. And if you're not like congruent with what you're asking for, if you're not willing to receive, like there's so many different conversations we could have about this, that where it's like you have to actually become something different. If you'd like to have something greater in your life, you have to become greater. That allows you to receive more and create more and be different in the world.
Yeah.
And it's like it can, the when you have tools, you take it from like a cool sounding great idea kind of a conversation to actually like, this is my reality and how I create my life and my business. And it is like every single day for me,
Yeah.
I use these tools all day long, and I have created some really amazing stuff in my life and in my business. When I started using the tools of Joy of Business and Access Consciousness, I had this, in the very beginning, it was like a 7 year period where my income, I 1 year I was like, I want to figure this out. I did the math. My income grew by 57% every year on average
Wow.
for 7 years.
Wow.
It was just like
That's crazy.
exponentialized, you know?
That's crazy.
Yeah, and it still does, you know.
Yeah.
It's just different now, you know. I'm more established in my business, and there's, you know,
Sure.
so it's different. But I was just like so blown away, you know, that I was like, wow, these tools are so weird. They're so energetic. They make so much sense to me,
Yeah.
and they allow me to take something that's a great idea, yeah, being me in business, you know, and actually do it and be it in the world, and see my business grow, you know. It's
That
so
you've
cool.
mentioned that these tools are energetic a couple of times, and creating from a space, from that energetic space, that's one way that I know for me personally is very different. I'm everything I do is from an energetic space.
Hmm.
And so when I've tried to eliminate that from my world and tried to make this, business decisions from my mind and what I'm supposed to do to get from A to Z, doesn't work. But
Yeah.
as you were saying that, I could hear people going, I don't get energy.
Yeah,
What
I
would you
know.
say to that?
You know, energy can be as simple as like when something makes sense to you, your world kind of lightens up, you know? And if you, I mean, I think a lot of us know what it's like to try to force ourselves to do something that doesn't make sense, that doesn't, you know, work. And in the name of money, in the name of business, you know, and just being like, well, I need to do this, so I'm going to do it, you
Yeah.
know, but there's nothing about it that's like, that lights you up, that has a sense of being inspiring, where you feel, like you said, like you're not actually working because you're just having fun creating, you know. Um, and so that's your first indication. If you feel like in your business, whatever it may be, whether it's a job or you're an entrepreneur, or you just have a family that you are in charge of, and you know, because your business is your life. It's not just
Exactly.
about business, you know. But if you feel like you're doing it in a way that is draining you, that doesn't feel like it's honoring of you, where you're like, you know, you get to the end of the day and you're like, that was so hard, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
that's an indication that there's something different available. You know, that's an energy. Um, and there's something different available, and it's actually accessed through your exploration of yourself and as a unique being, as a creative being. And I've found so many times over the years, like, things like my body, I love weaving the body into these conversations because for me, it's like
Oh,
my
totally.
body, my body shows me all the time, like, hey, this is exhausting, this is draining. I don't like this. Like, I feel like shit, and
Exactly.
all of those things, they don't have to be just part of the deal, It's not just, well, that's just how it is. You got to make money. I could never, I could never stomach that one, I was
Yeah,
always
I'm
like,
with you.
I was like, that, yeah, that's not my reality,
You
like
know,
it's
my
got to be
son said that to
easier.
me like a while, and I thought, "Who are you? This is not how I raised you."
Yeah, it's
Who
like,
is that?
yeah, it's just like, no, no. I actually do really, and that's, my body and me as a, just as a being, it's like I just every day I'm like, I want to just enjoy the hell out of every day of my life,
Oh,
And I know that I can do that, and I know that the more I do that, the
the
more
more.
my
Yep.
business can grow, my life can be easier, the more money I make. And it does. I mean, I've seen it for decades. Like, I've seen it work, not
Yeah.
just with me, but with a lot of other people, if you're willing to have something different.
Totally. And I have known that for a very long time, but I had never heard anybody have those conversations
Mm.
until I actually came to Access and really more specifically started working with you. You have your generative business pods that you do, I think, annually. Um, and just incredible. They're incredible. I know we wanted to keep this kind of short, and
Yeah.
there was one other thing that popped as you were talking. So the class is called Business Done Different, right? But you
Mm.
mentioned your life is your business. So maybe
Yeah.
there are some people out there and they're like, I don't have a business. I have a job, a job, or whatever. So could you just speak a little bit more to who this class might be for and who might consider choosing it?
Yeah. I mean, I would say really anybody, because it's true. Your life is your business. Your business is your life. And that doesn't mean now you're going to work all the time. It's kind of the opposite, People always go like, is this, I ask because I travel a lot. And so I get the question like, work or play? Are you traveling for work? You traveling for play? Yes,
Yes.
It is play.
Yeah.
So, but so here's like a little example is, my kids were really little. I was trying to start a business, and I actually had to really handle, I was a single mom, and, my body was having a rough time. And I had to handle my parenting reality with my kids in order to change my body, in order to change my business and start growing a
Mhm.
business. And it was just, that's to me an example of how your business is your life. Cause it was like
Yeah.
my entry point into knowing what I needed to change to grow my business, to get out of chronic pain was, my kids, how things were going with my kids. And my body was showing me like, this doesn't work. Like, you
Yeah.
need to change something here. So, you never know kind of like where to approach whatever it is that you're wanting to have more of in your life, like where to approach it from. When you ask questions and you're curious and you explore and you don't try to figure it out, you get all kinds of awareness, and your body can show you and stuff like that. And it's like, so the class to me is like, I always say it's a master class in creation.
Mm.
And it's like, whether you have a job, whether maybe you stay at home with your kids, or, you have a business, or you have multiple businesses. It's a class in creation, the creation of your life. And when you wake up every morning and you're like, I'm in the business of my life and I'm creating my life, and maybe your job is included in that. I mean, your job is included in that. um, you can also start to see like so many more possibilities, creative explorations, revenue streams, adding things to your life that grow your whole life,
I love that.
instead of just like, I go to work, I come home, I'm exhausted, I watch TV, go to bed, that's really boring for a lot of people,
Totally. Yeah.
and
Totally.
you don't have to do that,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
if you're bored, it's probably because something else is possible.
Totally, totally. And I love the format with this too. So, can you speak a little bit about how and why you broke it up the way you did with the format as far as the 90-minute sessions, I think is what it is, right? 90 minutes?
Yeah. So Business Done Different is it can be a 3-day class that you do. You can do it in person. You can do it online. There's people all over the world that facilitate it, and you can also do it as a program. So the program version is where we'll get on Zoom for 90 minutes and dive into the manual, dive into people's questions, and then people can go away, live, create, put it to play and come back, and they ask more questions. And so we're doing 10 90-minute Zooms over a course of, I don't know what it is, maybe 8 weeks or something like that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, 2 months. Yeah.
Yeah. So it starts October 2nd. So it's just a really cool way to explore and to play with, the material, and I love making it really, really relevant to the people that are there, what they have going on in their lives, what their businesses are, just really. So it's very interactive. You bring your questions. There's so much to explore in the manual. It's just huge, and we can also, like, we'll weave things in from the manual into your life and how it's relevant to you, and then also, like, wherever people want to go when it comes to business, money, and creation, we'll go.
I love it. Well, and if it's one thing I know about you, we definitely go. I mean, the money pool calls are like 10 minutes and it's like,
Yeah, I don't fuck around.
I love that about you.
Well, I've been using these tools every single day, all day long in my life for 15 years, and facilitating them in depth the Joy of Business I've been facilitating in depth for over 10 years. And it's just, and I apply it to everything, and I facilitate all the time. I facilitate business all the time. And I love it. Like, I just love empowering people to know that they can create anything they want to create. And there's a million different conversations that we can have around that. And I'll have all of them.
I love it.
There's more than a million.
I've taken a lot of classes with you, Heather, and that is one thing I can say, hands down, every single class, just, it rocks my world. And I walk away from that going, okay, holy crap, what just happened and who am I and what now? And it's always greater. So I am super excited about this. And I can't wait to see who else joins us, because the more the merrier.
Yes.
Yeah. So is there anything else we want to say before we go? I will, after we're done with this, I will put the link. I'll go back and put the links for people in the little in the comments, so that people have those, so you don't have to worry about that.
Thank you.
But
we can also just say it too. It's heathernichols.com/BDD online.
Love it.
Yeah. So
perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. I'm excited.
I know, me too. I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's like,
I know, it's just
less than a week. It's Friday? Is it Friday that it starts?
I
Something
think
like that. Or Thursday.
I have to look at the calendar because I'm like, I don't even know what today is.
I think it's Thursday. I know. I haven't either. I just happen to be looking at my computer. So Saturday. Today's Saturday. That's
like, what planet am I on? I mean, that's kind of where I'm at right now these days.
Me too. Me too. I love it.
All right, my friend. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm so excited and super grateful for you.
Oh, thank you. And thanks everybody for watching. See you later.
Bye.